Daf Mem Amud Beis, 5 lines from the top at the 2 dots. The Kailul Atzmo Tanoi. Whether we say we combine Rosh Chodesh, the mentioning of Rosh Chodesh, in one of the other brachas, in the brachas of the other brachas that are mentioned for the Chag, that's a machlokes Tanoim. Now, when we say over here Kailul, we mean specifically including it in one of the other brachas, as opposed to Yalav Yavai. Previously, when we talked about Kailul, we discussed it in more of a general term. Is there an additional bracha, or is the mentioning of Rosh Chodesh inserted somewhere in the Shemona Esrei? But here we mean more specifically, not only inserted somewhere in the Shemona Esrei, we don't mean Yalav Yavai. When we say Kailul in this context, we mean specifically that we combine it with one of the other brachas. The Sanya we learned in the Brisa, it says in the Brisa, Shabbos Echaliyos b'Rosh Chodesh. If it's Shabbos and it's Rosh Chodesh, or B'Chol Shel Moed, or it's Shabbos Chol Moed, so you have a mentioning of Shabbos, and you have plus either Rosh Chodesh or the Chag. So Arav Shachos and Mincha Mispal Gedar Kesheva. So the regular tefillas of Arav Shachos and Mincha, you davenim say the regular 7 brachos that are normally said on Shabbos. And you make a mention of the day in the Avodah. So you mention Rosh Chodesh or Chol Moed, and Avodah, which is what we do when we say Yalav Yavai. Rebbe Lezer Amar Baidah. He said the mention of it is not in Avodah, it's in a Haidah, like we say when we have Al Nisan, we mention it in the Brach of Haidah. Here also we mention the day in Haidah. So it's a mention, both of them hold that it's not a separate bracha. We don't mention a separate bracha. We make a mention of it, not even in the bracha of Shabbos, but either in Avodah, because it has to do with the longing for that we should restore the Avodah of the Beis Hamikdash, or the Thanksgiving, or Haidah. And if you didn't say it, you have to repeat the Shemona Esrei. About Musaf, Maskal B'Shal Shabbos. Over here, they hold that you start the bracha with Shabbos, like you do in a regular Shabbos. U'Mesayim B'Shal Shabbos. And the end of the bracha also is exclusively Shabbos, like it's done regularly. Vaymer Kedushas Hayayim Be'emsa. And you mention Rosh Chodesh or the Chag, you mention that in the middle of the bracha. So it's incorporated in the middle of the bracha on Musaf. Rabbi Shimon ben Megamlev, Rabbi Shmuel ben Ashel, Yochanan ben Ruka, they say no. Call Malkim Shezokak L'Sheva, when you have the 7 brachas of Shabbos, Maskal B'Shal Shabbos, M'Sayim Shal Shabbos, Vaymer Kedushas Hayayim Be'emsa, they say that you're kailal it within the bracha. It's not mentioned within Haidah, it's not mentioned in the Avodah, it's kailal, you're kailal it within the bracha. It's incorporated in the bracha. So you see over here that they hold that it's kailal, whereas the other Mandomrim said not that way. So you see kailal is a machlokes Tanoim. My Hava what's the Maskonas Advorim on Rosh Chodesh as far as Musaf on Rosh Hashanah? Do you mention Rosh Chodesh on Rosh Hashanah and Musaf? My Hava Amar of Chista Zikaron Echad Oila Loila Kan Lakan. We mention the Zikaron, the remembrance, that satisfies both the obligation for Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Chodesh. We do not mention Rosh Chodesh independently and separately. V'chein Amar Rabba Zikaron Echad Oila Lakan Lakan. One mentioning of remembrance satisfies both, so we don't have a separate mention of Rosh Chodesh. V'Amar Rabba said another halach, Ki Avina Be'Rav Huna Yiboilan Ma'oloi Marzman B'Rosh Hashanah V'Yom Kippur. Do you say Shechianu on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur? Do you also have to say Shechianu? What's the shaila? What's the basis? Do we say Kevin de Mizman Lizman? Also, it comes only from time to time. It only comes annually. Therefore, Amrina, we should say it. Or perhaps it's not called Regon. It's not called a Regel Loy Amrina. Then perhaps we do not say it. it's not called a regel, therefore it doesn't have that special significance of being oilel a regel of a chiyuv to come to Yerushalayim. And as the Torah's Chaim says, it doesn't have a special simcha that's associated with a regel, that's a yontiv, a sman of simcha, these are yimei din. Perhaps we don't say lo yahava biyodeh. He didn't have an answer. Ki also be Rav Yehuda Omar Ana Akora Charata Name Amin Azman. He said, I say it even when I have a new food, even when I have the new harvest of a new squash, I also say Shechianu. So therefore it should be said for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Meaning the way the Torah's Chaim would be explaining it is that even though there's no special simcha for a karacharata, a new squash, your whole shaila was maybe you don't have that simcha of the regel. Well, here you don't have such a special simcha for a new kara, but nevertheless it comes from time to time. So here also, the Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, it comes from time to time. It comes only annually. Where says, no, don't bring me a raya from that, because he says, Rishus lo kami boile. And my shaila isn't, is it permitted to say Ashechianu? Ki kami boile chayva. My shaila is there a chayva to say it? Do you have an obligation? Amar li, says Rav Shmuel Damar Tavayu, ein am zman el b'sholosh regolim. He says you only say Ashechianu on the sholosh regolim. That's what Rav Shmuel said, that it's only on the sholosh regolim while there's a special simcha. Otherwise, there is no chiyuv. So there's a din on the Paiskim over here. It's mashma that if a person does have a new fruit, he doesn't have to say shechianu. There's no chiyuv. If he wants to, he could. But that's what it's mashma over here, that if he has a special fruit, there's no chiyuv to say shechianu. But some of the Paiskim have a din on this, and they say no, perhaps that's not what it means. There's Sefer Eshkol and other Meforshim and Paiskim that they say perhaps that's not the pshat over here, meaning Rishus lo kami boili, that it's I don't have a shaila if you want to make shechianu, meaning if you taka had a new fruit, you have to say shechianu. There's no obligation to buy a new fruit in order to say shechianu. Perhaps that's what it means. Perhaps really, if you have a new fruit, you have to say shechianu. What it means is here, you don't have an obligation to put yourself in that chiyuv, in that situation. But if you had it, perhaps you would have to say shechianu. But al kopanim, it's not so clear over here if there's an absolute obligation if he has a new fruit or not. But al kopanim, Rav Shmuel, they said, Ein oim zman el b'sholosh regol. Meisei, if I get more akash, tein chelik l'shiv gam l'shmoina. The pasuk in Kahela says, give a portion to 7 and also to 8. What is 7? What's 8? What's it referring to? Rabbi Elazar Aimer, Shiva, and Zanya Mei Bereshis. The 7 is referring to the 7 days of creation, Bereshis. Shmoina ela ches yemei milah. And 8 days is a reference to the 8 days of Milah, that the Milah is, the Bris Milah is on the 8th day. Rabbi Shiva Elo Shiva Yemei Pesach. Shemaina Elo Shemaina Yemei Chag. It's referring to the 8 days of Sukkot. Ogeshu Aimer Gam. It says Hein Chelik Tzirva Gam L'Shemaina L'Rabbos. It says Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippurim. It's including also to include Shavuos and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So what is it including for? For what? What is the point of it that includes what? My lav l'zman, that there is a chiyuv to say shechianu. So you see that you have to say shechianu Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur as well. And where it says lo, no, that's not what it means. It's lebrocha. It means not for shechianu, but a bracha for the day. You have to make a bracha that you're mekadosh this day and sanctifying these special days. If you think it means shechianu, the zman called shiva meika, tein chelik l'shiva. You don't say shechianu the entire 7 days of Pesach. You say it the first day, so it's not 7 days. Where it says halakasha, that's not a kasha. You would not be able to prove your point from there, because you're able to say shechianu all 7 days. Now, certainly if you said it the first day, you don't say it anymore. But if you haven't said it, you're able to say the shechianu for during the entire 7 days. If you haven't said it, any one of the days qualifies for a day that you can say shechianu. So, but if to say Shachianu, you need a kais. So therefore, it's mistaber to say on the first day of Yom Tov you have a kais, but it's not mistaber to say that during the entire period of time that people would have a kais and be able to say the Shachianu on the kais. It's not a common thing that people would have it. Let us say, therefore, it's a right of Rav Nachman who says, Damar Rav Nachman that even though you should say the Shechina Kais, it's not Ma'akev. You can say it even when you're in the marketplace and you don't have a Kais. Or says, no, Halai Kasha Diklei Kais. What it means to say is that if you happen to have a Kais, you can say Shechianu for any one of the 7 days. Maybe, really, perhaps I'll tell you that it must be said over a cup of wine. You need a kais. But saying if you happen to have a kais, and if you didn't say Shechana the first day, you can say it in any one of the other days of Pesach. Well, if you're saying that the reference over here is to Shechianu, and if you're saying that Shechianu requires a kais, well, that's fine. You can apply that to Shuas and Rosh Hashanah, that he makes Shechianu on a kais. But Yom Kippur Me'echavid, how can you make Shechianu on Yom Kippur? You can't drink the wine. Now, if you're saying that he would make the bracha of Shechianu and drink the wine, how can that be? Once he said Shechianu, he's already makabel the day, the Kedushas Hayom, and therefore it's Yom Kippur, and you can't drink. He's on Tanis. And it's also to drink. Because I'll show you that once you say the davening, that you're makabel the day, even if it is not yet nightfall, but once you said the bracha and you're makadosh the day, even if it's day, if it's still technically it's daylight, it's not yet the night, you're makabel in yourself the Kedushas Hayom, and therefore the Yisurim that are involved in the day fall upon you. Because Amalei Rav Yirmiyah bar Rav, he said, Mi Badlos, then he said, you davened, it was a cloudy day on Erev Shabbos, and he thought it was already nighttime, and he davened the Tefillah of Shabbos, and then Rav Yirmiyah said, are you abstaining now from Malacha? Since you davened Shabbos, then even though you thought it was night, but it's not, but even though it's not nightfall, you daven Shabbos, you have to now refrain from doing Malacha. Yes, I did abstain. So you see that if you are makabel Kedushas Hayom, whether it's day or night, or whether it's not even night, even the daytime, you have the restrictions of the day. So if he says Zman on Yom Kippur, even if he said it before nightfall, it would be also to drink. And if Zman requires a kais, and if we were saying what the reference over here is to Shechianu, how could you say it on Yom Kippur? And to make the bracha Shechianu on the wine, on the cup, and not to drink it. Can't be. If you made a bracha, you have to drink. To say, okay, in an eitzah, he made the bracha and he gives the cup of wine to a child to drink. No, that's not an eitzah. That's not an eitzah. That's hilchos like Ravacha. The halacha is not like Ravacha, who permits that, who permits a child to do something that is also for Gadol. He said we don't allow that because because he might learn this and adopt these habits, and even when he gets older, he'll be attached to it, and he'll continue doing it even when he gets older. So it's not an eitzah. So how could you say that there is Shechianu, and it's all a kais, and it's Yom Kippur? There's no eitzah for that. My havalo, what's the maskana? Do you say Shechianu Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur? Shan Rabbana Rav Yomi Saba. The Rabbanan sent Rav Yomi Saba, Kami the Rav Chisda to watch and to see how he was noig l'gabi this. Mamala Yom the Reish Hata. It was an Erev Rosh Hashanah. Amrulay, they said to him, Zil Chazeh Chaviruvda. See what his minig is. See what he does regarding this. Ta Emalan, and come back and tell us. When Rav Chisda saw Rav Yomi, Omar, he said to himself, if one picks up a piece of wood that's wet, that's moist, so it's not suitable for firewood. So why is he picking it up? He's not picking up to use for firewood because it's not use suitable. It must be that he needs a place, he wants a place there to sit on, and that's why he's picking it up. So therefore, Rav Chisda, he said that Rav Yemar that didn't come here for no reason. Why is he coming Dafka right now on Erev Rosh Hashanah? It must be that he wants to see how I'm noyeg by Lagabi Shechianu. Isolate also the Chamra, he brought a cup of wine, Kaddish Amrisman. He said Kiddush, and he said Shechianu. So you see that you do say Shechianu. He made a point of saying Shechianu, and therefore you see that it's a chiyuv. And the way it's when Forshim explained over here is that he saw that he came for a purpose. So he made Dafka point to say the Shechianu, and that he should say it in front of him to know that it's a chiyuv to say Shechianu, and it's not a reshus to say Shechianu. Ve'helchasa Eimer Zman, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, ve'helchasa Zman Eimer Avil B'Shuk. And he said their halach is that you say it on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, but the halach is that Shechianu does not require a kais. So therefore, on Yom Kippur you don't have this issue. So it is a chiyuv to say it on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, but it's not a chiyuv to say it on a kais. So therefore, on Yom Kippur you don't say it on the kais, but you do have a chiyuv to say it.